It was a customer service nightmare. Small membership base, crazy customer service. When we took a step back and said, is this really what we want? Like, we're not even giving good care. We're just like, they're just coming through like cattle, really. There was just so much to do, so many systems to build. I'm a really organized person, so that part I had, but I was literally keeping things on a spreadsheet of how to track and how to follow up with patients and stuff. And then you were like, no problem. We're going to build you a CRM. Like, what is that? That's the first thing you did in our business when I first started working with you. It changed everything, you know, and now that we have a team where they don't see me in the office, it's a completely different culture in there. It's not based on me showing up. But I love what you told me. If you're not growing, you're dying.
While working on like bigger businesses is really fun, the level of appreciation
I could get that
somebody has coming from like, you know, where they were at, you know, small business to now growing to $1 million a year business. It's like, it's a cool thing to see. I'm here today with Randy Brookins, COO and managing partner of Eternity Health Partners. I've been fortunate to be able to spend a couple days in their clinic in Santa Barbara twice now. And today we're going to talk about the things that we implemented in the business that made the biggest impact for her and allowed her to step away from the day-to-day. Eternity Health Partners, as it has grown, has been an incredible like learning opportunity for me too, where like I had a really good idea of what I was doing when we first started working together. But a lot of the best things that I've learned have been through like trial and error in your business.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the stuff that we've implemented has worked, but not everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's taking like what we've learned, like the initial consult intake forms, follow-up consult intake forms. That's like something that is like, wow, that was a no-brainer. Like we should have just done that earlier. And now that's like something that, you know, we do with everybody. The way we collect reviews, we learned from working together with you guys. The pricing structure, we learned from working together with you guys. So I think like you mentioned, having people that you've grown your business alongside and the relationships that you've built as you've built them, like you can just learn so much from that. And I think like that experience, along with working with some other people, is like probably why what we do, like we know it works. Yeah. Because we have like the experience of working alongside with you and going through the shit with you.
Yeah. When I first started working with you, our first interaction, you've seen me overwhelmed. We've been working together long enough. You've seen me in the shit. But I was at the biggest point of leaving the company. I was so overwhelmed. Yeah. And like, I'm a pretty hopeful and optimistic person, but I was like, I'm so in over my head. And so I remember asking Mike, my partner, to find me 3 companies to just check out to see where we can get some support. And he sends me 3. I interview with all of you guys. And I remember meeting with you, and you were so calm and nice. And I was such a bitch because I was just so done. I was so exhausted. We were growing so fast. And I was like, I don't even know where to start, you know?
That's funny. I don't remember you. I don't remember being mean. I do remember.
I felt mean in the inside.
I do remember Mike being like, hey, I don't really know what we need to solve, but Randy's like, we need to solve some stuff. So I need to find somebody who can work together with her. And that's how we got there. He's like, I know we need to hire some people. I know we need some systems. I'm supposed to go out and find some people that can work together with us, and she's going to interview you.
There's just so much to do, so many systems to build. And I'm a really organized person, so that part I had, but I was literally keeping things on a spreadsheet of how to track and how to follow up with patients and stuff. And then you were like, no problem. We're going to build you a CRM. Like, what is that? Like, that was so long ago. That was a huge game changer. That CRM platform you built for us. I don't even know. We would never have survived without it. I mean, we did have our EMR software, but it doesn't have the communication and the tasking and no.
I don't understand like how people can scale their business at all without like having like team visibility on things where like everybody can see the one thing and communication's not like siloed.
It's not sustainable. But here's the other thing too. I think with people who've got like you're trading your time for money, like consult payment, that transaction. I think as long as that's coming through, they're good, But to have like an ongoing membership or reoccurring, there isn't that like transaction all the time.
The revenue predictability, the ability to not be focused on the next new patient every month.
Yeah.
Yes, revenue fluctuates even with memberships, sure.
Yeah.
Total memberships go up and down, but like you know that you're not going to lose them all in 1 month. Whereas like on a transactional new patient basis, you may not get any new patients next month.
Yeah.
And like in the way that your business is set up, that could happen and you'd be okay.
Yeah.
Everybody still gets paid. Everybody's like the world doesn't end. You don't have to go into savings to make payroll because you have memberships come in. I don't understand how this is like so overlooked. It's actually like infuriating because I had somebody argue with me the other day, yesterday, about memberships. They do like very similar models, like $900 initial consult and labs, pretty similar model, and then they sell into an even more expensive program. It's like $6,000 for 6 months, something like that. And I'm like, like, what do they get with the program? They're like, visits with us. I'm like, that's all they get? All they get is visits for $6,000 for 6 months? How does that get them to feeling better? You have this patient who's like not feeling well and they want to feel better. How does 6 months and $6,000 visits with you get them from feeling like crap to feeling better?
Interesting.
Visits don't. So like,
yeah,
spacing out the payments and making it more digestible for most people is way better. Where like $6,000 may take food off the table for some families right now, but $500 to $600 a month is a lot more digestible for a lot of people.
I think a lot of practices, like, you don't know what you don't know. We always need to learn the hard way, unfortunately. When Mike went out to Houston, Texas to start lowtestosterone.com, that's before we started this clinic, it was a customer service nightmare. I mean, it was a membership base, but it was like small membership base, crazy customer service. When we took a step back and said, is this really what we want? Like, we're not even giving good care. We're just like, they're just coming through like cattle, really. Like, they're just a number, ticket number. Let's go. And it's like, no, you want to like have that experience. And how can we do that? Okay, let's do a membership. But we learned it the hard way too.
What do you think you learned from that business that had the biggest impact?
Growing too fast can really be a problem, actually. It's great to grow at the right speed. And every business is going to be different, with the goals and who you have on your team. But I love what you told me. If you're not growing, you're dying. Because I love growth. And sometimes I wonder if that's like a me problem, not like a business problem. But when you reaffirm that for me, I was like, great, because I love growth. Not because I'm not, because I want more. I just like evolving, developing, learning. It's interesting at this level in this stage of our business. I've always been in the office. I still go into the office, and Mike and I both had an office in there. And so when we'd hire, I was the last piece of the hiring process. But I remember a couple of them saying, like, do you know why I took the job? And I was like, tell me. And they're like, I really like your energy. I really like you. I think we're going to do great things. I'm so excited. And I'm like, oh, is that, it's kind of like, it's a great thing. That's a great ego boost, but that's not good. If I'm trying to phase my way out a little bit, not out, but just, and now that we have a team where they don't see me in the office, it's a completely different culture in there. I mean, it's very positive, actually the most positive it's ever been, not because I'm not in there, but because it's not based on me showing up or Mike. Mike was also that for the medical team. They're always excited and really leaned on us to like for the vision and the leadership. And so I was like, okay, we have to build that outside of us and make that the culture of the team, not just one specific person. Like it has to be just like across the board. So that's been really interesting to see that shift and how it's changed and how they actually, how the team actually comes together even tighter because of that. And then when I show up, then it's like there's more energy, like it's another level. So it's like we're leveling up because of that. And I thought it would be the opposite. So it's like it's fascinating to watch it unfold, but it took a long time to get there. But diligent and, staying on top of the vision, making sure you're watching and showing up in the office. I remember you telling me, do you just come in and watch the staff? Like, I don't got time for that. But a couple of times just showing up, bringing them coffees, and then assessing like what's going on in here. And sometimes I was like, what the F? What is going on in here? It's a shit show. Then I'm like, okay, I'm not doing my job. I got to come back in here at pieces. I got to help manicure things. I got to help build it so that it stays true every time I step in here, that it's going to be the same quality of care, of experience, the ambiance, like everything has to be up to standards, not just my standards, it has to be like the company standards at that point.
Because usually it's like, if you just step back and look at it, it's obvious, but most people just never step back and look at it. If the patient comes back to the room with the provider and is raving about the experience that they had with the front desk, there's no better metric.
It's interesting that you said that too, is because we have a pretty good close rate with memberships. And we had a couple, this has got to be maybe 8 months to a year ago now. We had them leave and they didn't sign up and everyone was devastated. Like, what happened? We need to dissect this patient. Like, what did we do wrong?
They didn't buy? What?
They didn't buy. Everyone's freaked out. They leave. Whatever. Fine. I think it was a week later. They referred 3 people. So it was just because I was telling them so. Like, don't worry about it. It'll come around. You guys gave a great experience, but they were taking it personal. And I was like, you did the best. We did what we set out to do. That's all you can do. And sure enough, when those 3 people came back, we got referrals from them. They're like, oh, they did like us. So it's just that reinforcement of every interaction matters a lot. You get from that so much, that return, not just to feel good for you. You can, like, relationships is how we built this business, not just patients. Like, we've been in this industry so long. The relationships we have with our labs, our pharmacies, from the very beginning when people were starting their businesses, and now we're multi-million-dollar businesses like Empower. We knew him when he had 20 employees. But they're building their businesses on the same scope and standards that we're doing. And you learn from each other and you give each other trade secrets and all that stuff. You establish these relationships. And now these longevity clinics that are coming into the space, they're like, how can you afford to pay that? Or, your prices are low and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, we're locked in at a really great rate because we've established these long-term relationships.
You have literally been doing peptides longer than anybody else that I know.
Well, and it's interesting. You've been helping with all of our SEO stuff. There's a lot of stuff we couldn't say or we could say, and then we had to take it down. And, with peptides, we couldn't say it for a long time. We couldn't advertise it. We couldn't. And I remember some people being like, you hear about this whole peptide thing? Like, where should I find that? Like, some of my best friends, I'm like, we do that.
We've been doing it
adorable.
For a long time. The last 2 years has gotten crazy for peptides specifically.
Gosh, it is wild. And it is, I'm not worried about it. I feel in a good place about it for our business because so many people are getting peptides outsourced from not good pharmacies or labs. The places that we go actually don't even advertise or don't offer to see new doctors because a lot of doctors don't know what they're doing. They don't want the risk. So much has changed. They're under the radar so huge. I will get probably, not joking, an email a day of people, new companies starting, wanting for me to buy their peptides. It is wild.
Is there anything that you're excited about that you're doing for patients or about to start doing for patients to make your experience even better or help people get even better results?
Before we used to get the biohackers who really knew this stuff. That was our people, or the CEOs that know the stuff. And they're like, yeah, I know all this. This is great. But now we're getting a lot of people, because peptides is such a hot topic. They're like, what's that? And I'm like, oh, this is such a fun opportunity to do more education for new people who really want to get help and that like that don't even know this is out there. It's like wild to me. There's so much online that people get really, really overwhelmed. And then they try it and then they have symptoms and it's like nobody ever needs to go down that rabbit hole by themselves, especially when it's longevity medicine. You know, if you got like 6 symptoms, yeah, go down the rabbit hole with the right physician. But to pop around, like we get a lot of people who've done it on their own, peptides or GLPs, and they come to us and they have all these symptoms because they weren't doing it properly. And it's like, oh, you poor thing. Like you must be so frustrated. You kind of put yourself in a pickle. But it's like, we can help you. But I'd love to get ahead of that curve and give them the education first so that they can make better decisions. But right now they're just like YouTubing everything. Instagram, getting all this different information. It's like, I'd love to be that trusted source, you know, where they can get the education. And then when the time is right, then they'll come see us.
When I talk to people who, because previously not every agency marketing consultant was using High Level. Now it's at the point where like, I mean, you've entertained other agencies while we've been working together. You know that most people are using High Level now. Yeah. When I talk to a potential new customer or even an existing customer about getting their team to use High Level and rely on the tool, sometimes they're like, yeah, we tried that and it didn't work. What do you think specifically you did right to make sure that your team understands the value for the business of using High Level?
I find it interesting that you get pushback for people using High Level.
Every day.
It has been
existing clients and past clients. They're like, they can't hold their teams accountable. They don't compensate their teams appropriately to use it. They don't check on it themselves. There's a tons of reasons that I've found that it doesn't get implemented the way that it should. But I'm curious what you think you did right that gets your team to love it and get the results that they get using it. Like I'll talk to clients who aren't using it yet. Like we just started working with a woman in Seattle. She's got $1 million a year med spa, no CRM, nothing. And she's like, what are you going to do for me? I'm like, I can grow your business by 20, 30% with just giving you this. Like doing nothing. If I do nothing else right and your team just uses this, I know for sure I can help you grow. And they're like, what do you do for that? Like, it doesn't matter, lady. Just, this is what you need.
100%. Like when you came and that's the first thing you did in our business when I first started working with you. It changed everything. And actually when Krista called me and she was overwhelmed with her practice, she was like, hey, like I'm kind of a little overwhelmed. I don't really know where to start. And I'm like, do you have a CRM? That was my first question to her. And she goes, no. And I'm like, okay, number 1. And she goes, and what do I do? And she's asking me those questions. I'm like, and number 2, hire Anton. I said, because there's steps here, like to get you there. And she's practicing. So she's an NP. So it's like, you do you, and then have somebody build out your business and help support you in that. But CRM, I don't know how, I know how I was doing it before. I was crazy. And we weren't satisfying patients the way I know we should be able to. And we've had that a long time. So I think when you asked like how our team was able to implement it, it was just me, Mike, and Lauren at the time. So for me, it was easy because I do like change and I like to add systems to the business, which I knew was going to be really important. And then Lauren jumping on, she kind of just naturally kind of followed suit. Mike's never used it. I don't think he's ever seen the CRM before. He's like, let's go High Level. Like, aw.
He's never even logged in. He may not even have an account.
No, he probably doesn't. That's fine. He doesn't need to. He still talks to people on their cell. I'm like, can you just talk to him through the CRM? He's like, huh? I'm like, never mind. But like to track statistics and everything, like we use it for all of that. We use it for remember when I was using MailChimp? I was using MailChimp for my newsletters. I was using something else for something else. I was texting from an iPhone. Then I had a landline. It was nuts. like CRM, if you don't have that, that's wild to me. I do not know how you succeed without it.
While working on like bigger businesses is really fun, the level of appreciation
Yeah,
that
I could get that.
somebody has coming from like, where they were at, small business to now growing to $1 million a year business. It's like, it's a cool thing to see. The way
Yeah.
that they interact with you and the respect and the appreciation, saying thank you, like that's like in client work, when a patient says thank you for making them feel
Yeah.
better, I'm sure that's like, there's nothing that makes you feel more fulfilled. Like the review you got the other day for Vanessa. I
Yeah.
could tell that
Totally.
was really fulfilling for you guys. It's like new
Yeah.
provider, kind of unsure,
Yeah.
amazing review.
Okay,
Like,
we're doing it right. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. There's some hurdles and there's some change and that sucks, but growth hurts. Okay. Yeah, it's a huge like not slap on the back, pat on the back. Not slapping anybody, we're patting them. But do you find that you have a lot of businesses that are like on the smaller scale when you started with us, or are you finding like bigger practices that you're working with? Because I know so much has changed in the scheme of longevity clinics.
yeah. I mean, there's a reason why out of the 40 clinics like yours that I work with, that I trust yours with my and my partner's health.
Yeah.
I have options,
Yeah.
but we come to you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. The space has changed so much. It's so interesting. Lots of who we see now too are they're coming to us for the longevity and regen and optimizing. And then they still have a GP. I'm like, that's great. GPs are good for certain things. Yeah. But they know the difference between the two. And I think more people are starting to learn that. But I think people are getting really excited, don't do their research, and then realize, oh, that doctor actually doesn't know what they're doing because they don't go to trainings or get education around it. They're just like, oh, here's another revenue stream. Let's throw this in there. It's like, well, that's not cool for the patient, Just because that's what that's what everyone's saying that they want, you still need to treat them properly. Like you still have a relationship with them. Yeah, we see so many patients who come from different clinics that are like, I'm all screwed up now. Like, it's okay. We know. Well, let's start over. Like, that's got to be such a painful experience to be so excited about something that everyone's getting so much great positive results from, and then to go backwards. It doesn't need to happen. So, but we're here to solve the problem.
It happens in the digital marketing space still.
Yeah, I bet.
A lot.
Yeah.
Where, so-and-so promised X result. Now the staff is jaded because vendor showed up and left, didn't deliver. Business owner promised staff that they were going to get this result and this is why they were doing it, and they were jumping through the hoops. And they didn't. Now they've got a new guy, and now they're skeptical, and they're treating me like I'm going to show up and disappear like some baby daddy or something that did somebody wrong at some point.
I know. Yeah. I know.
They're skeptical like us and what we do. And I'm sure you probably deal with some of it too, where Tiffany's meeting with patients, and the patient's like, oh, we thought that, we tried that and it didn't. And she's like, yeah, but look, like you just didn't do it quite right.
And education's the biggest piece to gain their trust. And why wouldn't you want them to be educated? You want to just tell them what to do and like let them walk out the door, Like I remember I had one patient who's a friend of mine. She was one of the ones who actually said, "You guys do peptides?" I was like, "Girl, what?" Yeah. Then I realized actually that's on me. Like I'm an introvert. So unless somebody asks me, I'll tell you, but I'm not going to go out there telling all my business and all the things everyone should be doing. I'm not that person. But so she goes, I didn't know you guys were doing peptides. I want to do peptides. I heard yes, you should do all the things. Why don't you come in and be a patient? Great. So I get her in. she leaves the office and gives me a call, and she's like, she spent 90 minutes with me. And I learned so much. And she's a PT therapist. So she's fairly, knowledgeable about things that happens in your body. And she was like, my blood work, like these panels. And she went line by line, like to educate me on like what I need to see in my markers and like why. And I made all these notes. I took home a folder. I'm like, yeah, dude, it's like school. You're getting education to help you with your journey. It's not just come in, let's give you a prescription, see you later. Let's see you in a couple weeks. Hopefully you have some results. It's like, even if they do leave and don't stay with us, that piece in itself is going to change their life. You could have different products that are super successful in your business, but the people and the team and the providers you have on staff. Here's the thing. You could sell a vacuum. You could sell whatever, and it's just like it's a transaction. But here it's like, it's a ripple effect, like not just in business and not just in health. It's, giving education to the team and then it ripples into the community. The more people can get more support and more trusted help, like it changes everything, from your health to your communication. Like health is everything. Your mental health, your gut health, like all of it comes together to then be present in your family life, be present in anything. So for me, it's everything, trust and relationships and building that. But then also what I'm noticing now a little differently is providers who are really passionate, not just about patients and care and empathetic, but that they love this stuff. Like if you don't love longevity health and you don't see where it's going and you don't like want to read up every excerpt that there is and go to everything that you can possibly get your hands on, you're done. Like do something else, like you gotta feel that like pull of growth. Otherwise it's just a job. And that's great. There's some people who just want to punch in, punch out. I get that. I've learned that the hard way too, trying to grow people in their role, thinking that they wanted a similar thing that I did, is like growth and get to the next level. And I remember her telling me, Randy, I don't want that. I want to punch in, I want to punch out, I want to go home. I'm like, got it. Thank you so much for that information. But for the most part with providers, you don't want that. You don't want them to punch in and punch out. You want them to be invested and you want them to like really care about what we're doing here. So if I were to bring on, say I was like, okay, we're going to do regen next. And they're like, oh, okay. It's like, okay, you're not my person, because that again will relate to the patient. And we believe that's hugely, wildly going to change people's lives. So we're not lowering our mission statement to hope that your job and your lifestyle and your paycheck fills your needs. Like this is a bigger mission than like, let's get people their paychecks and a 401k and call it a day. It's like, it's so much bigger, which is cool. But then once you can move with that mission, people will you'll draw the right people.
So we've been building like a national lead generation model to be able to provide people who are looking for hormones, peptides, anti-aging stuff. I've been working on that for like a year and a half or so, and we're partnering with Randy and her business to build it. So I'm pretty excited for that one.
Yeah, that'll be cool. A lot is changing in the industry. So there's a part of me that is just kind of patiently waiting to see how the dust settles a little bit before I can determine what's next. Again, I'm always careful on how fast we grow or what we implement, and I'm optimistic, but I'm also very cautious on what we add to the practice or what we do with the practice. And I think that's what's been another piece of our success, is keeping things really simple. But there's a lot of cool stuff out there. So it's kind of, I'm excited about opening up Regen. We've not done that really yet. I think that's a big, I think there's so many great things that or helping people change their lives, which is so cool. But at the same time, we're almost to the point of where I saw us like 10 years ago. Like regen is the next and last kind of goal of mine. So it will be interesting to kind of, again, pause and see what the industry is doing, because it's changed. I think there's a ton of AI component. I think there's a lot of community outreach. There's so much, but I don't like following what everyone else is doing. So I kind of like to see the holes and let people kind of do it first, and then see where there's missing holes where we can then fill that hole. But I don't know what that is yet. So I'm sure Anton and I will figure it out as we get there.
This is going to be a little crude, but it is what it is. 80% of people won't do what it takes. 15% will do something. 5% will do everything that it takes. We recommend everything that we've implemented with Randy's business to everybody we work with. I've been fortunate in my life to have functional medicine and longevity medicine introduced to me at a young age, and I've been able to introduce it to my family members and my loved ones, and it will change the health span and lifespan of mine and my family's lives, which makes me extremely passionate about helping these types of businesses be able to impact more people. If you'd like to be able to impact more people with the medicine that you do, we'd love to help you.